All right, the next part that we want to make is the stack of the train. So it's clear that because we've got 100% cylindrical features here that we're going to do a revolve part. And notice that this revolve part has kind of this jagged inside. I'm going to ignore that because I've got this hole call out here, and I'm not certain because I don't know OnShape that well, but I would like this hole information to be called out just as I enter it. So I'd like to make a hole with all of that information in it, and hopefully that'll appear in my drawing sheets when we're done. So I'm going to make essentially just the outline of this thing and half of the outline. So 0.25, 1.5, 1.75, those are my key heights. 0.25 and half of 1 1/4 are my key widths. So I'm back here in my train document. Do not start a new document. Come over here. We're gonna in the train document we are going to make a new part studio. So we make a new part studio, and this one, let's start right now and let's right click, and I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call it CY underscore stack. And I don't have a part here, I have no solid created, so there's no solid body, but I'm going to rename that solid body CY underscore stack as well. So let's start a sketch on my front plane here, navigate to that front plane, and I'm just going to draw the general shape. I'm not even paying attention to dimensions here. So this is my general shape, something like this, and close it off. And I'm just going to dimension a bunch of things. So it takes that first dimension and scales everything along with that. So 0.25, it's got a 1/2 inch diameter on that. From here to the center line, that was 1.25 all for the diameter, so I'm just going to divide that by 2. This height right here was 0.25, I believe. It might have been 0.5. We're going to go with 0.5 for the moment. Oh, that is a lot. We need to get this overall height up there. That was 1.75. I think that one was what this first one was 0.25. And this point right here to the bottom was 1.5. Let's go verify. It's 0.25. So I'll go back. So there we go. We've got the general shape. You escape out of here. We're missing one dimension. So yours might end up looking something crazy after you throw some dimensions on. But notice that the one line is blue, and I should be able to take at least one of those points and move it around. And I know it's going to be this top point here. We don't have the overall width across that top edge defined. It has a vertical line right here. I'm drawing in a construction line, and the angle between those two is 15 degrees. I could alternatively, without even having to draw that in there, I could dimension to something else. And is that going to be 75, or that's actually going to be 15 as well? And complementary angles, the geometry type stuff. There you go. It's all in black. That's my 15 right there. I don't actually need that center line. So that is, a half of my stack. So I can finish my sketch. I can come over here to Revolve. I'm looking to see if there's a hotkey. There's not a hotkey for Revolve. And I'm going to select that area, select this center portion as my revolve axis, and you see I nearly have my stack already. I need to put a hole from the top down, and like in Inventor I could just hit hole and then find a circular reference. Can't do that here, so I'm going to do a sketch. I'm going to go look at the top view. I'm going to put a point. I'm going to click on that center point, so it's right on there. There's a point there now. And now I'm going to finish my sketch, and select hole, and then select that point. And let me go to a kind of a 3D view. You can see I've got a hole going in there. Now I want to continue to do not a simple hole, but I want to do a counterbored hole, which has a lot more information in it. It creates this tiered shape. Let's go look at all of our information here. So this is where reading a hole call out comes into play. It says that my hole diameter is 0.375, and that is for 1.5 inches in depth. My counterbore diameter is 0.875, and that's for 3/4 or 3/8 of an inch in depth. So that counterbore is the wider part, but it goes for shallower. The hole is actually from the very top edge all the way through. That's the depth measurement. And if you can imagine, there is a 3/8 of an inch diameter one that's going all the way. If we subtracted out that counterbore, that would still be there. So it's not 1.5 from this edge down, it's 1.5 from the top edge. So I will have forgotten all of those. Let's just do the hole first, and then, so the hole has 0.375, and the overall hole depth was 1.5. We have the counterbore height was 0.375, and the width was what I've forgotten, and that's 0.875. And I think we've got it. Now the one peeve here is I cannot figure out how to make this not a drilled hole. I don't really see any way to do that. And if you notice on the part itself, it has a flat bottom. If I hit my check box here and look down in it, you can see that it's not a flat. There's another way to view this. Let me look at it this way. Oh, let me drag. I'm going to do this on every video. The view cube I want down here. Just because for purposes of where my little head goes, it just works out better that way. But if you check out this little view cube, there's a little arrow on it. And if I click the drop down on it, there is a bunch of stuff in here: zoom to fit, isometric, trimetric, perspective is in there somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Turns perspective on. But down at the bottom it says turn section view on. So I can turn section view on, and then all I want to know is just what plane do I want to cut through with it. Well, I want to cut through with this plane here, and we can see that it slices it right in half, or right through that plane. And we can see that my problem is here. I have this pointed bottom. I have a solution for us. It's not elegant. It might ruin our hole call out. I'm not positive, but I have a solution. So we'll hit, I'm going to hit, well, actually, we're going to leave it like that for right now. No, actually, I don't want to. Let's turn that off. So go back and turn section view off, and we are now back to that full one. I'm going to just easily, quickly draw a sketch on the bottom here. Face of Revolve. I'm going to click X, and I'm going to extrude. Click check. I have already. I'm going to extrude that face. I'm going to extrude it in the other direction. I'm going to make sure that it is adding, and I'm just going to send it 1/4 of an inch. Basically, I'm adding back in stuff that's mostly already there, except for that very point of the drilled hole. And if I do that, and I go back to my section view, and we now see I've flattened it off. I've put that back in there. So it should be complete, almost perfectly done now. The last thing I need is, it says right here, optional chamfer of 0.01 at a 45-degree angle on the bottom edge. We can get that done. Chamfer equal distance is going to be 45 degrees, and 0.01 is my dimension. All I need to do is just go select that edge and hit my check and zoom way in on it, so you see that it's got that little bit of an angle on it now. It is going all the way around. Let me turn back on the hole. part, and there you go. Let's come over here. Let's do some rename things. I'm going to call this CY underscore stack. I am going to make this yellowish gold, and I am going to also make it assign material. I'm going to make this ABS again. And then I'll show you that when I highlight it, I can come over here to the scales of justice, and you can see that I have a volume of 0.772021, a mass of 0.029. That will let you know if you've made your part correctly or not.